And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. I am Anthony Irwin, joined in a rare trifecta. Triangle pod is what we are doing here by Raj Chapalu and by Aaron Larsoul. That being Aaron's Warriors just beat the crap out of the Lakers.
You know what?
And
No, I'm not letting you do that. We're not starting like that. The Warriors are the team of my youth. That's what we're doing. The Warriors are the team of my youth.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk. The thing I always go back on is that you talk about the Warriors in the same way that I talk about the Lakers, and that tells me that there's still a lot of passion there about the
okay. Here's why. You're talking about online, right? Like as on Twitter and such.
Mm-hmm.
Because
when we talk,
because I can't talk about the Lakers that way publicly. I cannot have that much passion about the Lakers publicly. I work there. I can't say all the things I want to say publicly. As it relates to the Warriors, I can. As it relates to the Lakers, I can't. So I can understand how it may come across as I have more passion for the Warriors as opposed to the Lakers. That isn't true. But publicly, that has to be the case.
No, my point is that you give me a hard time for covering the Lakers the way that I cover the Lakers when you would cover the Warriors the way that I cover the Lakers.
Except I don't cover the Warriors.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like,
except I don't.
It's like I was talking to Matt before we.
Yeah, it was by the way a really good episode. I enjoyed that.
I don't know why I get to a certain extent why some people get rubbed the wrong way by him or whatever.
Too,
but like
we were the episode.
We were talking before the show, and I was like, you exude. Exhume?
We're digging up dead bodies?
No, exude. Yeah, exude.
Yeah, there you go.
Exceptionalism in the same way that I do with the Lakers about your Chiefs, because he's a Chiefs fan. And I was so all the stuff.
No, you know what? Now I'm out. Listen, thank you for having me on, Anthony. Thank you for having me on. It's been fun.
All the stuff that he makes fun of me for, he does all that same stuff with his Chiefs, and I just find that funny. And it's just
Did you guys break down? I listened to the episode, but was there like a bonus episode, maybe for Substack, where you guys broke down all of the Chiefs holding penalties in the Super Bowl that didn't get called? No, okay, cool.
Raj
has no idea what this. Raj has no idea what any of this is about.
Really quickly, because I was in Vegas for the Super Bowl, and so I don't bet at all, but everyone's like, you have to bet. So I looked at the favorites. I was like, I'll bet on the 49ers. I put some money on the 49ers, and I texted my friends, and they were like, that was dumb. I was like, dumb? Yeah. They're favored. Like, Vegas even thinks they're gonna win. And it was not fun watching Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry. Raj, you're always looking for like an NBA comp for anything that happens in the world. You're looking for an NBA comp. Patrick Mahomes is Steph Curry. He is the boogeyman. He is who?
Is he not
your favorite
LeBron
NFL player? No. Because LeBron is like straightforward. I'm the most dominant, and I'm just gonna take your soul. Patrick Mahomes is he is a dude that everybody else is afraid of, like Steph, right? All the NBA dudes are afraid of Steph. All the NFL dudes are afraid of Patrick Mahomes. He's not the most physically dominant, but he's the boogeyman.
The images from the Niners sideline, as soon
I
as
don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm a little sorry.
We're not
look, man, like your team just beat the Lakers. I'm gonna get my.
It is not my team. It is the team of my youth. It is not my team. We're not doing any of this. My internet is getting ready to go out.
Your whole power.
It might be because I unplugged things, but my internet is getting ready to fail.
All right, tell you what. I'm going to do something that gets us all in a better mood here. Brandon Omeng with a super comment, which means I get to play this. Fuck Boston! Want me to do it again? Fuck Boston!
What are Brandon they saying? What are they saying in that clip?
What do you mean? What are they saying?
I'll do
it again.
Play it again.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Fuck Boston! Says it right there.
Oh, that was fuck.
There's a caption there too.
That was fuck Boston from Showtime.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, play that again.
Yeah. So anytime, as a reminder, anytime people leave super comments, I will play that clip as part of the branding of the show. And Brandon left one here.
Love it.
Writing that the Lakers are such an unserious team. Also, why did Bron sit out to play today and play tomorrow against the Spurs? Not a good look, especially because he played in the All-Star game. I do think that is a good place to start. We'll come back to the game over the course of the show. It is the second topic for those of you who are watching live here on YouTube. And for those of you who are watching live, please do hit that subscribe button. Please do hit that like button. Leave your comments, all of that good stuff. But yeah, I do think
can I take this one?
Well, hold on. I'm gonna expand this out really quick so that we aren't like cramped in a closet while we're having this conversation. But yeah, no, Aaron, I'll get out of your way. What is going on there with LeBron playing in the All-Star game and sitting both sides of the All-Star game? He did not play in the game before the All-Star break, and now he did not play in the game on the other side of the All-Star break.
So, Brandon, thank you for the super chat. I think this is a fascinating question. And it is something that the trainers and doctors and sports science people around the NBA consider, coaches, players, GMs also consider. And I don't think anybody has come up with a definitive best practice for this. The Spurs tomorrow are terrible, right? The Spurs are terrible. The Warriors haven't been great this year, but have won a bunch of games recently and seem to have figured something out. And so when there is a back-to-back, and this happened earlier in the season with AD and the Rockets, I believe. And I don't know the best practice, but I think it's a fair conversation. It's, do you want to have all hands on deck in the game you're pretty sure you're going to win, or the one that's more of a toss-up or you think you might lose? And I think it's a fair conversation to have, right? The Warriors and Lakers, I think both have a very high ceiling this year, but from what they have shown so far, the teams are kind of equal, and the Warriors are pretty healthy. GP2 didn't play today, but the Warriors are pretty healthy. So if LeBron is going to play, if he can only play one of the two games, I think it's a fair question to ask or conversation to have. Like, do you want to play LeBron today and take a chance against the Warriors and maybe you beat the Warriors, or maybe it's a dogfight, maybe you lose, or do you want to play him against San Antonio, who is actively trying to lose? Like, if LeBron plays today and the Warriors still win, and then LeBron can't play tomorrow, do you lose that one against the Spurs and then it's a complete disaster? Or do you want to save LeBron for tomorrow and just say, we'll fight the Warriors and see what happens, but we feel like we have a 95% chance to win against the Spurs tomorrow with LeBron? I think it's an interesting question, but it is one that is being asked around the league.
My question is, like, if LeBron's ankle is in a state where he has to choose one of the two games coming out of the All-Star break and also sat the game before the All-Star break, what's he doing playing in the All-Star game?
I mean, did you feel like the All-Star game was the paragon of competitiveness?
Like, it's extra. It's
no, that's fine. That's fine. But
like, and he's LeBron out there dunking from the free throw line, you know, in that All-Star game and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I watched him play there. He looked fine, and then now all of a sudden he's not available for one of the bigger games of your season, a nationally televised game too, by the way, that I can't imagine the league is thrilled that he missed. Go ahead, Raj.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I don't really mind him sitting this game. I kind of understood it, even though you did try to win this game. AD logged his 30+ minutes, and I thought he was great. But it's the imagery, Aaron, of LeBron. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I think just the pressure of trying to dunk at the free throw line, and he was taking like tomahawk dunks. He looked like one of the more aggressive dunkers in the game, let alone just for a guy who's kind of nursing, you know, an ankle injury. I thought that was strange. That's a weird kind of image to put out, that he was going to play in that All-Star game. And if he just ran back and forth, I would understand it. But he was taking like huge tomahawk dunks on a supposed, I do think it's a bad leg. And now he's nursing that while the team is back playing. I just think that's a strange look, isn't it? I'm not going to question LeBron James's kind of medical decisions. I think it's a strange look for fans and everyone involved to see LeBron dunking like that in the All-Star game and then him sitting like you said, Anthony, the 2 games on the side of it. I think it's strange that he didn't, that he was dunking that hard in the All-Star game and now sits out a really important game where you could have made up ground in the standings. Phoenix lost tonight as well, right? I think Sacramento did win, but you have Golden State also gain a game on you. Like, these are huge games down the stretch where every game kind of matters, and he's going to rest games going forward as well. I didn't like the look of that, I guess.
I think both of those things are true. Like, I think Aaron's logic applies, right? The logic that Aaron is talking about there applies. Also, it's a bad look, to miss both of the games on either side of the All-Star break, and then also be seen during the All-Star break dunking and running around the way he was. Like, it does, lead some people to some questions about, like, what did we just see? And look, like, I also think, though, that, like, as much as we might want to talk about LeBron and his and not being available in this game, the Lakers, I thought, showed their asses in this one, and the Warriors were pretty clearly ready to go in this one, and, like, the Lakers just were not. I thought it was, like, poor preparation, which is weird to say of the first game coming out of the All-Star break, where Steph gets like 3 or 4 wide open looks to start the game.
The drop coverage to start did not.
What the fuck?
Effective. Yeah, the drop coverage. Steph is not the one for that. Steph is not. Raj is better. Look, Raj is better than both of us at breaking down, like, film, but I'm gonna go ahead and put I've scouted here for long. I'm gonna put my scout hat back on here. This is my scout hat. I'm turning around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, like, Steph is not the dude I would play drop against. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird, and then like, Raj, we talked about the minutes, like the way that they lined up minutes here, where you had Austin guarding Steph for a big chunk of the game, and then you bring in Max, and then Steph sits, and then you're not using your best perimeter defender on Steph. Like, it was just.
But without Vando, though, to both of you, without Vando, who's the option?
That was my point online.
He cooked Max. Like, Max can't guard.
Sure,
he's gonna cook anybody, right? Like that's what Steph Curry does.
Without Vando, like, who's the option?
Well, even with Vando, I think the whole point is your team defense around it. And Aaron, to your point, they started off with I wouldn't say it's drop, because it's not like Anthony Davis was all the way back. And Steph, a drop versus Steph is different than a drop versus a lot of guys, right? Steph comes off where you can be at the level of the screen, and he's still just so far back that he hits.
It still feels like a drop, yeah.
It still feels like a drop, but AD's like, I'm at the level, right? So I'm defending against Steph if he's going to turn the corner, or if he's going to hit that pass to Draymond on the pick and roll with Draymond. So I thought AD thought he was there, and some of those shots you just have to, like, tip your cap to him. He had 3 threes, like, right in the first quarter. I thought a lot of those were, the first 2 were kind of where AD was dropped back a little bit, but on the third one it's just Steph being Steph. And while I was kind of fine Austin, staying with him, I thought Austin guarded him in the playoffs as well. So Austin's a guy that can chase, and if Steph's going to cook you in, like, isolation, cooking you off the dribble, I wouldn't have been mad at that. I think this game kind of turned when, like, I think D'Lo and the non-AD minutes and even the non-Steph minutes a little bit, D'Lo's turnovers were, like, really harmful for the team, and he couldn't get his offense going. Austin started to hit some jump shots, but I thought, like, just overall, this is where you miss LeBron. Like, you just didn't have another shot creator. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, I know Anthony was driving you crazy. He was in foul trouble, and, like, Darvin Ham essentially just removed him from the game. I think Dinwiddie was only Laker in a positive plus minus, but Steph, like, I don't know what you do with that. I don't think Max Christie was changing what Steph Curry was doing in that first quarter, and Vando, like, would have helped. He's our best kind of just on ball. He's not a great kind of screen navigator, but you can at least put length on him. Steph was just in one of those modes tonight. I think he had 25 by halftime or something like that. Steph was incredible and cooked the team. So I just don't know if Max Christie would have changed that at all. I think our guards weren't up to the level of playmakers tonight, as they've been for the last few games. We've been playing really well offensively. Just tonight, they didn't have it. So hopefully tomorrow in San Antonio.
What I would say, though, is just, like, it's the process, right? Like the process of what you're getting ready for when you're playing against Steph. You know what you like. You know what you, like, cannot allow when you're playing against Steph, and especially early. If Steph gets going early and you don't have LeBron,
yeah,
it's over. Like, we were watching the game, and we were like giving the Lakers credit. By the way, Aaron, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah.
Like we're like watching, we're giving the Lakers credit for like hanging tough or whatever. But like I was watching, I was like, this is a 15-game loss or a 15-point loss.
I mean,
because
when Steph starts doing that, like nobody in the NBA wins. You're just not going to beat him.
Well, no, like he has lost games this year.
No, but to be, I was going to say, to be fair, like the Lakers scheme led into that at the beginning. What I'm saying is when Steph gets going like that early, because a lot of times he will start deferring to try to get other guys going early. When Steph gets cooking like that early, you just lose. And to whatever point you want to blame the coverage on that for allowing him to get going like that, it's fine. But when Steph gets going like that, you lose. Plainly, you lose, especially without LeBron.
But I think there are ways to and like, look, if he gets it going like that, and you're also shooting 20-something% from 3-point range, that's when you lose, right? Like, and the Lakers just didn't do anything to basically offset the math there, and it was just kind of a matter of time until the Warriors kind of started pulling away, and eventually they did. I want to talk about D'Angelo Russell in this one, and like, I think I have obviously made it known about the process that went into keeping him beyond the trade deadline, where it was reported that I didn't report this, but it was reported that basically the Lakers were swayed by the way that he was playing basketball leading up to the trade deadline and decided to keep him because of that. I have been told that it wasn't necessarily that so much as it was the offers that he would have been included in. They weren't over the moon over, and therefore they kept him for that reason, more so than the way that he was playing basketball. But this is the concern. Like, no matter how you feel about like keeping him after the deadline or not moving him or even the process, this is the concern, is like the Lakers' floor is a lot of times kind of dictated by D'Angelo Russell's floor. And in this one, he was just not a factor in this one really from the get. And you bring in Dinwiddie and you're hoping that it's weird to have Dinwiddie in foul trouble. Like, I can't imagine. I was watching Dinwiddie while he was getting the fouls, and he was like, I never defend well enough to get fouls. Like, why are you calling fouls on me? It was kind of funny to like watch his reaction to that as it was going on. But like, Raj, like, I like, can you speak to like your frustrations watching D'Angelo Russell play here tonight? Because I thought it was a game that sends, I think, a pretty important reminder to the Lakers also of like, remember the Western Conference Finals where you could not play him.
Yeah.
And the impact that it has on your team.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm throwing this back to both of you and Raj. Do you guys think that D'Lo was among the bigger problems tonight? Because I don't.
What?
I mean,
no, I meant if you thought D'Lo was among the like bigger problems tonight, I don't think he was. You do think he was?
I do.
Okay. I think he wasn't part of the solution, which I think is kind of the issue with him, right? I think like he was throwing a lot of terrible turnovers. And Anthony, to your point of this is kind of the issue with D'Lo, I think he has been playing better. I was one of the few people who are advocating to like think about before you move D'Angelo Russell. Everyone was on the case of just throwing him out the door. I do think his playmaking has been better. I think that's the thing that he should focus on more. Tonight was a game I thought where, the Warriors really picked up their physicality on their ball screens and they kind of threw him out. But it was frustrating watching him just throw the ball away. There were a lot of units tonight where the reason you have a D'Angelo Russell is to run those second units when, LeBron's not on the floor, and he just wasn't able to do that. This is the floor for him, and I think that's why you go get a Spencer Dinwiddie. And even like last year in the playoffs, that guy, I was saying before that Spencer Dinwiddie is not just the Gabe Vincent replacement. He's also the Dennis Schroeder replacement. Like, he's the guard that can attack the rim, right? That can pressure the basket a little bit. And sometimes D'Lo and Austin kind of step on each other's toes a little bit in terms of they do the same thing. They're both guards who want to get to a jump shot, and that looks very pretty when it's going in. But when it's not, it looks like tonight. What did D'Lo go like? I think if you take out the garbage time, he was like.
I think he was 6. I think he was 6 of 16 tonight.
Right, but I mean, the game was over by the time he hit his last 2 or 3 jump shots. Not to attack him for that, but just
I
it felt like
predicted
the
it
game.
too. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, right.
We're gonna get some D'Lo down by 15.
I mean, to be fair though, his plus minus in single game is kind of wonky, but he was, I mean, he was significantly better than Rui. He was better than Austin. He was better than AD. Yes, it's wonky, but like
I
didn't
thought
feel like
Austin
he
was
was the
playing
biggest
better
problem.
than D'Lo. Like that's where
Yeah,
I thought
again, like
Austin
the
played
single
quite a bit
game plus
better.
minus is wonky.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the context with that, he was part of that group where, it was to close the second half. I think the game was going back and forth. It was tight. And then Darvin tried to give AD a rest, and that was D'Lo's unit. Remember, it was him. It was D'Lo, Jackson Hayes. It was Rui, and I believe it was Max. And like their offense was basically D'Lo run the offense, just get us to the end of the half. And he was throwing lackadaisical passes. He has a propensity to be really nonchalant. Like when he's just not invested, when his scoring's not going, he throws a lot of lackadaisical passes and just passes that were off the mark. Some passes went right to Steph, and he got a few and ones and stuff like that. I thought that really killed our momentum of where AD was having a really nice game, and then the lead ballooned, I think, to 12 or 13, where Andrew Wiggins got like a one-handed tip to end the half. And that kind of put us in this pocket of 12 to 15 deficit. But I thought that's where we lost this. And that's kind of the, struggles with D'Angelo Russell that you have to live with. And you hope when LeBron's there, you have a Dinwiddie there as well, that like it's on Darvin to kind of pull him and to kind of understand when D'Lo's having a good game or not. But it's kind of clear when D'Lo's playing well, he has this like moxie about him where he has this confidence and swagger. You just compare this to the last Warriors game here, right? He had that shot to take it to overtime, and you compare that tonight.
Yeah.
It's so stark where I think like the coaching staff has to be able to realize it's just not your night. And I thought tonight was one of those nights. We just didn't have the roster to kind of make up for that for him. But yeah, it was a tough night for D'Lo for
sure. Another comment here from Brandon, which I get to play this for. Brandon saying that be prepared for D'Lo to get benched in the playoffs for Spencer Dinwiddie. Don't trust D'Lo in the playoffs. I mean, like, look, that's been the story for his career, right? Like that's just a reality of the situation until he proves it to be otherwise. I thought that and again, like what frustrated me, like Raj, you mentioned it, in that like, Dinwiddie picked up his fouls. And I kept on saying, like, oh, who cares? If he fouls out, then whatever. Like, if he fouls out. And the notion, I guess, was that, like, they took him out with the fourth foul, hoping that you would stay close and that he would close the game or whatever. But, like, it's the age-old conversation that you have in baseball, right? Where in baseball, do you save your closer for, later in the game, or do you use that high leverage pitcher for the high leverage situation? And I thought here tonight, Spencer Dinwiddie was your high leverage player who was playing better than D'Lo, who they were saving for a moment later in the game that never winds up coming. And, you look at Dinwiddie's line, he only plays 18 minutes. He's the only Laker who is in the plus minus in a game that the Lakers got blowed out. So like, I don't know. I just thought that this game, the Lakers carried some momentum. That was like the title of a couple of the shows that I recorded going into the All-Star break. The Lakers had some real momentum going into the All-Star break. And I thought that this was another game where they kind of, went back to some bad habits. Taurean Prince, D'Lo, and Austin being in the starting group. That hasn't been a good thing all year this year. I thought Taurean Prince's shot selection in this one was really poor. And I thought that kind of took the Lakers out of momentum. But another guy that we have to talk about here, Aaron, I'm legitimately curious about this because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know to what extent it's a coaching thing. I don't know to what extent it's a player thing. But Rui Hachimura has the largest gap between floor and ceiling I have ever seen from a player who I consider to be good at basketball.
Yeah, of all time.
Right? Like in this one, he goes in 32 minutes, he's a minus 28.
It was awful.
It's like every time he took a breath tonight, the Warriors scored. So like what goes into that gap between the floor and the ceiling for him?
So I do want to take like a half a step back to kind of, because I think this is relevant to the Rui conversation also. how much of this do you guys like? How much of this do you kind of just throw away because LeBron wasn't there, right? And so you're saying like Torian started, and this
according to Darvin, it's harder to make up for role players than big dogs. So I'm not, are we supposed to make this?
He did say that a couple months ago. He did say that a couple months ago, which was not his finest quote. It was not his best effort. I think this is just kind of. I think that, this is, you're not going to like this answer, but I think this is just kind of who Rui is. Rui is an incredibly talented guy, right? He's big, he's athletic, he can put the ball on the ground a little bit, he's strong, he can shoot it a little bit, like as evidenced by the playoffs last year where he shot 1,048% from three.
Yeah.
But we also have enough evidence of 4 or 5 years in Washington, and then last year leading up to the playoffs, and this year where he's not that guy every day. And I think this is just my answer to what is it about Rui's ceiling versus his floor. And you know what kind of reminds me of somebody on the other side today. It kind of reminds me of Andrew Wiggins. Like, sometimes he looks like one of the best dudes on planet Earth, and then sometimes he's just a guy. And I don't have a great answer for how it modulates between the two or what causes one versus the other. It seems kind of random, right? Rui had, 35 or 36 the other night. And Anthony, you just mentioned he shot 51% from three in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for you as to why he scored 36 a week ago and looked like this was his second time playing basketball tonight. I don't know. But that is the $64 million question, right? I don't know, but I think it is. I do agree with you that the difference
is $64 million bucks the amount of money they're going to pay their next head coach. Is that, did we get some inside information?
Hold on. Is this Hennessy? Yep. Hennessy is delicious. Sweet, I understand the frustration for Lakers fans, and there is frustration. Rui gets frustrated by this, and the organization gets frustrated by it, and management gets frustrated by it, and Darvin gets frustrated by it. But like for some guys, this is just, especially when they're this talented but can't harness it every night. Sometimes the NBA just has these guys, right? And again, like it feels a lot like Andrew Wiggins is more talented. He was the number one pick, and he was the best player in high school in Canada, and all this kind of, and all this. But that's what it feels like. Where sometimes they can be, because they're that talented, are the best dude. They look like the best dude on planet Earth, and sometimes you're like, wait, he just played 26 minutes. He was on the floor tonight, and I don't know the answer.
Really quick, it's actually 54 million. So you gave him an extra 10 for no reason. So it's only 54 million for Rui Hachimura. But I'll give you an answer. The reason why he dropped 36 against Utah is they start 3 small guards, or they play a lot of small guards, where it's like Keontae George, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton. Those are guys that really.
Yeah, but you're not getting overwhelmed by the Warriors' like size and physicality.
I mean, like Kuminga and Wiggins gave him real issues tonight. Like he was unable to go through their chest, and even Dario Saric, who should have been a mismatch for him, he was just unable to kind of go through his chest. And I think the most disappointing thing for me with Rui Hachimura, and he's not alone in this, where his offense dictates his defensive effort. But I think my issue is, the whole point to me of giving a guy like that a 4-year deal or a 3-year deal is so that whatever role it is, he can buy into it and not have to worry about the contract kind of stipulations. And it still feels like he was and he might have been correct. He was probably correct about this in terms of being unhappy with his role. But to me, his defensive engagement just comes and goes way too much. The reason he was paid, and I push back on this all the time, where people, say he was only paid for his 3-point shooting in the playoffs. I disagree. I thought he was a huge factor in terms of his physicality, his rebounding, his low man help, his weak side blocks that he got in the Memphis series. Obviously, the shot making is what kind of creates all the headlines. And it wasn't just 3-point shooting. Against Memphis, he was able to take them in the post and hit his like mid-range kind of jump shot that he's patented. All that stuff has kind of really waxed and waned, where His effort on the defensive end has just not been there. And then you combine that with his foot speed. He got beat off the dribble, to your point, Anthony, tonight, like 50 million times. His closeouts were terrible against Pajemski. He was, closing out the wrong side. He gave up floater after floater after floater tonight. And those are the things, those defensive kind of awareness stuff with him that's a little concerning. But yeah, that's my thing with Rui. Like, I think he needs to be engaged. He needs to be, a part of the offense. What happened to him as a screener? That's the stuff that we were using a ton before the All-Star break. Tonight, I think he set like 3 screens. Even the screens he set, he didn't really set. Like, he was just kind of there. And that's the stuff with him, I think, that, comes and goes way too much for a guy that the Lakers really invested in. That was the whole point to me, right? That's the whole reason you give a guy a contract like that, so you don't have to worry about
how much of that. And this is a question for both of you. How much of that is on him, and how much of that is on not him? On an entity that is not Rui Hachimura? as I take a sip of.
I mean, I would say it's more coaching than Rui, but not by much, right? So like you're talking, 55, 45, 60, 40 kind of a deal. And the way that I would explain it is, like, Raj, you made the point about his contract, right? And yeah, that is the amount that he got paid. And you would hope that, like, within that contract or implicit with that contract is like, all right, now you can, like, you got paid. You don't have to, like, it's not a Christian Wood situation where you're like dying to score every point that you can possibly score so that you could hopefully get your contract after this one. You can focus on whatever it is that makes us a better team. Right. But I also think, like, a part of that also is having a consistent role that rewards him for doing those little things. And the example that comes to mind is actually DeAndre Ayton, where Phoenix, he did all the small things. He was setting hard screens. He was rolling hard to the basket. He was defending at the rim. He was being an actual winning player. And then not only did they not pay him for doing those little things, but then there was told, like, actually, we need you to do, like, the bigger things in order to get your contract. And that's what he winds up focusing on. And I think, like, with Rui, his role has been so enigmatic this year, so ambiguous this year, that, like, I think there's some frustration where he just kind of falls back on bad habits that he developed in Washington, where we know how Washington operates, right? Poorly. Like, we know that it's a shit organization, and like, and for guys in a bad organization, it just becomes, well, I'm going to get mine so that I can get paid. And I think when Rui sees some Wizards tendencies from this Lakers coaching staff, he's going to harken back to those bad habits. And I think it does make him kind of waver so far on either side of the sine curve. For a player who should be more, he has the tools, Raj, to be so much more consistent than he actually is.
Do you remember the story this summer? It was him. I never watched the movie, but I forgot what the reference was. But him, like, with LeBron, shadowing LeBron around.
Like, Raj, you've never watched any movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but I forgot what the movie name was. But anyway, I think the listeners know. But like, he was like shadowing LeBron around.
You could say, like, Avatar. Like, it could be like a movie billions of people have watched. Oh no, it's Karate Kid.
Karate Kid. Yes. That's on the bucket list as well to watch. But anyway, like, he was following LeBron.
Raj, no, it's not. You don't have a bucket list to watch. That is not a thing. No, it's
I'm
not.
Supposed to watch.
Do not lie to the people here. Do not lie to the people.
You're right. Yeah, it's probably never going to go on
Netflix
a TV
show
screen.
too. I can't believe. Like,
Cobra Kai. Yeah. I never seen that shit either, Raj. To be fair to you.
Okay, thank you.
Which makes it.
That's white people shit. Yeah, that is definitely white people shit. To be fair, I think I have seen Karate Kid, which is also white people shit, but I think I've seen it.
So if you miss an if you hadn't watched The Wire, would that make it white people shit too? Like what's
The Wire is about a bunch of brothers in Baltimore. Hell,
I know. But
it's also the best TV show that has ever existed.
It seems to me that every time you haven't seen something, it automatically becomes white people shit.
No, to be fair, I don't watch. I'm not as bad as Raj, but I do not watch a lot of movies and TV. I watch sports and cooking shows. I don't really watch anything other than that. It's not just something that I haven't seen.
Do you like Next Level Chef? Have you watched that one?
No, I ain't watched that. That's probably why people shit. I watched that. That's probably why.
No, there's literally a black judge.
It's still,
she's really good.
It's still probably. He's giving me, just because of how you're describing it, he's giving me Tiger Woods, like Russell Wilson vibes. Russell Wilson is a quarterback that plays in the NBA, plays in the NFL. Raj,
she's a she.
Oh, she.
I've heard of Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Okay,
I've heard of Tiger Woods. As well.
No. I think that's why people shit. No, I ain't watched that. That's why people shit.
No, I like the tools that Rui has at his disposal. Like the part of it that frustrates me is, okay, your offense is going to come and go because there are so many primary creators on this team, right? And sometimes there are going to be some games where
not tonight though.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean like it's going to come and go. Like your role in the offense is going to come and go for whatever reason. But to me, like Raj, I think the point that you're making that I think needs to be hammered home a ton more than it has been this year. Everybody's been focused on the offense, but defensively, he's gone from like impact to disaster. And there is no reason why he should be that inconsistent on that side of the court.
Exactly. I remember we played Denver, a few weeks ago, and I was watching him versus Aaron Gordon. Right, he's not the athlete Aaron Gordon is, of course, but I think like Rui needs to be more like at least Aaron Gordon light for this team, and I think that was at least a little bit of the hope that he would come in and be that big physical bruiser, right? And that's why Aaron Gordon fits so beautifully with Denver. Like Aaron Gordon is not a jump shooter, he's not a crazy spacer, but you just watch him on every play. He's going and screening hard, and he's a force on the boards to a point where some teams have to send 2 at him, right? And that kind of collective force of having to put 2 on Aaron Gordon and having an offensive rebounder like Nikola Jokic, like that's just a really tough combination for teams to deal with. And that was some of the hope, I think, like pairing Rui with LeBron and AD. And yeah, those guys haven't played enough, and that's kind of some criticism on Darvin Ham. But I think Rui's kind of ability to be a physical defender and just a physical force that has waxed and waned so much this season. That's the most disappointing thing for me from him. I think his offense has actually been okay. He's actually shooting a good percentage on spot up threes. I think there's places where he gets lost. And tonight, Aaron, you were asking if you just throw this away because LeBron didn't play. Tonight's one of the few nights where Rui gets to play the power forward. Like this should be his most productive lineups that he plays in, at least offensively. And still, he just looks lost sometimes. And where he's just running, I call it corner to corner, where Rui just runs from one corner to the other. And there's a lot of places where he just has a blank stare on his face because he doesn't know what his role is. So that's the stuff I would like to see more defined with him. But yeah, Anthony, the defensive and just physicality and force, that's the stuff I want to see from him more. And I think that's a big part of why he was paid that much money. People look at that and just can look at his offense, but I think the defensive kind of force with him, LeBron and AD, was a huge part of it, and he's kind of disappointed in that manner so far this season.
I have not seen this excuse used before, but apparently, I'm trying to find. So Anthony Davis this is from Jovan Buha, friend of the show, friend of the internet. Jovan Buha, the people's champ, right?
People's champ.
Yeah. Anthony Davis isn't speaking with the media tonight because he lost his voice per the team. Darvin Ham said post-game that Davis's voice affected his ability to communicate defensively tonight, and maybe that's why the Lakers were so bad defensively. Sure thing, bud. Why not? Fuck it. I do want to. I want to wrap on this because so essentially, like, I had that episode with Matt where he made the case as to why the Lakers are actually a worthwhile bet at like 50-1 to win a championship this year. I would say any LeBron James and Anthony Davis team that you could bet at 50-1 to win a championship is a good bet. That number has since dropped to 28-1 the last time I looked at it, though I think after this game might bump up a little bit again. But I want to know, like, is there anything, Aaron, that you think the Lakers can do to shorten the gap, narrow the gap between the absolute worst that they can look and the best that they can look, right? Without lowering the ceiling. Like what can be done here to raise the floor for the Lakers? Because they do need to rack up some wins here. Like they do need to go on some stretches where they win 7 out of 10, where they win, 5 out of 7 consistently or whatever. If they want to stay in the playoff race, play in race, let alone jump into like the 8 spot or whatever. Like if you had to narrow down a thing outside of injuries that the Lakers would need to focus on here to, raise their floor, is there anything that can be done basketball wise or like what would you look at there?
So here's the thing. I think we have the 10 that are going to be in the playoffs / play-in. I think the 10 are the 10. The Lakers and Warriors are 9 and 10 now. And I think that Utah and Houston have fallen back enough that I think that at minimum, the Lakers are going to be in the play-in. There is a material difference between, and look, for the Lakers, I think getting the 6 seed, the 5-6, which right now it's Sacramento and Dallas and Phoenix are kind of going back and forth with it. I think Dallas's win today put them in 6th and Phoenix in 7th. So I think that ship has kind of sailed. Getting to 6th and just the Lakers are a playoff team, I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
But there's a material difference between being 7-8 and being 9-10. Do you have to win one game to get in, or do you have 2 chances to win one game to get in? So I think at this point, the goal for the Lakers is try to get into the 7-8 matchup. If you can be 7, great, because that means you get to host it. But how to optimize that and to raise the floor, like, you're not going to like my answer, but it's the guys playing and playing well, and frankly, optimizing the lineups in ways that we've seen more of recently, but I'm not sure we've gotten fully there yet. By the way, that's a Darvin question. You can say, Aaron, why aren't you telling Darvin to do this? Or why isn't the front office saying this is what it should be? It's a Darvin question. Darvin is fully empowered to play, start, have the rotations be, the minute distribution be, whatever he thinks is best. Outside of when training staff, a doctor says this dude can't play more than X number of minutes, but that's not what it is right now. So, I mean, really, that's a Darvin question. It's a optimize the lineup question, and that is going to get you the best chance to raise the floor without also shrinking the ceiling. I think that's the answer. Because there's no more after Spencer, right? That's the bio guy. Like, there's no more help coming.
Yeah. No, I was asked today what I'm hearing on the buyout front, and I'm hearing that
the Lakers.
This is the team. Yeah, right. This is the team here moving forward.
All capitals.
Dinwiddie was a miracle, man. Like I can't stress enough.
Spencer's a great pickup. I don't get credit for that. I get shit for not getting Darren Collison until 3 years later, or 3 years later, when he was completely washed by the time I got him.
Evidence
I don't get any credit. I get no credit for Spencer Dinwiddie. Cool. I just like to know. Just blame for Darren Collison. And by the way, shout out Coach Pete, who really like twisted the knife into me and exposed me for cool. Thanks.
No, we just needed photo evidence. Like we needed photo evidence of you being there with Dinwiddie at that game, and unfortunately, the only photo evidence that we got was him there with Pelinka. Not unfortunately,
on the other side. So whatever. It doesn't mean I didn't have conversations. It's on the other side, directly behind the Lakers bench. I'm across from the Lakers bench.
Yeah. All right. I think that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge. Unfortunately, not enough time to talk about Jalen Hood-Schifino's step back.
Wait, but just
let Raj cook. Let's get out of his way.
He hit his first 3 of the season, man. He hit his first 3 of the season, so I'm excited. He had an air ball from 15 feet, and he had like a pull-up jump shot that didn't go in. But I think we've just thrown him out way too quickly. I'm not saying he's gonna be great. He's gonna be good. It's just I think it's too soon to have a ruling on JHS. So excited to watch him play. Really quick before we end though, because I had all these.
He'll be just fine in Cleveland next year.
Oh God, don't do that to me.
Raj, get the notes out. Raj.
No, I was just like because like I've been out for a while with life stuff and dealing with stuff. So I was so happy to come back, and I thought the Lakers might have had a chance to win. So like I think the team is playing a lot better. Like I think they've really found themselves offensively. We've gone to a bigger lineup. Taurean Prince is actually coming off the bench when the team has people who matter, not who matter, but when we have the guys healthy, Taurean is coming off the bench. We moved towards a bigger lineup. Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes were a part of that. Christian Wood is obviously hurt now, and I think Jackson Hayes is playing really well. Our offense, we're like number 2 in offense in the last. We were like 8-3, I think, in our last 11. We were number 2 in offense and like number 2 in assists and like 29th in turnovers, something like that. Where like I think the offense has stepped up. This team has been playing better. They just need LeBron and AD to kind of stay healthy to have another run here. So it was a lot of like throwing cold water on a team that's actually been hot for a while, like because of this loss. But I do think there's a lot of positive coming. I just want to get that out. I just want to get that out because I was like really excited.
There's a good team in here somewhere, is what Raj is saying.
Somewhere. Tell Cooper.
Juggernaut. Yeah. No, I also agree. I don't want to completely overreact to, losing to a Warriors team that had been playing better lately since Draymond came back from his suspension. They had been quite a bit better, especially
10 for the Warriors going into tonight.
With him on the court, especially their ratings are all kind of through the roof since Draymond has come back. It's why Avery will get a couple extra donuts tomorrow. But
you went dirty again. You went dirty money again.
Guys, I don't know how many times I have to explain this to you guys. I am a thoroughly practical person.
You went dirty money again?
I was a civil engineering.
I don't even know if Avery wants those donuts.
I can guarantee you Miles does.
Okay,
my man loves his donuts.
Fair enough.
No, but no, I think Raj, the point that you made there is a good one, and it's a fair one. That the Lakers had been playing better. They did not have LeBron in this one. They go play in San Francisco, where it's typically difficult to play, and Steph did Steph shit, and like when Steph does that stuff, it's going to be difficult to win anyway. I think there were also some aspects of this game that were predictably annoying, right? The Rui step back in this one, and the D'Angelo Russell bad game in this one, and Darvin Ham's kind of mishaps again in a game that you had 2 weeks to prepare for. Those are the ones that that still leave a bad taste in the mouth, even given the expectations going in. But we'll see what the Lakers look like. The nice thing about the NBA season, especially from here on out, is that more often than not, you have a next game in the next 24 to 48 hours in this sprint to the end of the season here. So we will be there to watch that with you on All Access Lakers. Raj and I watched this one together. Maybe Aaron will no, is it a home game? It's probably a home game.
Yeah, tomorrow the Wemby. Yeah, my first time seeing Wemby in person. Yeah, tomorrow.
You didn't see him in Vegas?
Yeah, we saw him at.
I mean, I saw him in Vegas as before, when he played Scoot's Ignite team. Yes, I saw him twice in Vegas. Got to scout him there, but this is my first time seeing him as an NBA player in person.
Okay. All right. So Raj and the guys will be on All Access Lakers. It's a Friday, which means I am not working. It's just
good for you.
It's a long.
If you
season.
If you're at the game tomorrow, DM me. Come have a Hennessy or a Sin Cara with me at the game tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah, hit him up. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from us, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Raj Trapalu. That was Aaron Larsoul. This has been the Lakers Lounge, a fun triangle episode here of the Lakers Lounge to lift your spirits after that kind of ugly loss that the Lakers took at the hands of Aaron's Golden State Warriors. And
the team Sunday, of my youth, not
Sunday,
my Golden State Warriors, the team of my youth.
Until Sunday. Is that a Warrior shirt that you're wearing right now?
No.
Steph jersey under there.
Yes,
No.
it's like the nice thing about Steph jerseys is that they're reversible because there's a Lakers one on the inside of it. But we'll discuss that.
It might be a Manute Bol Warriors jersey, but he's my favorite player ever. Manute Bol.
Until Sunday. Have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's. Oh no, wait, no. Tomorrow's a happy hour. I'll be doing a happy hour here.
Friday,
To talk about basketball with you guys and send your questions in the form of a 5-star review to iTunes, or when I fire off the tweet, you guys can get your questions in there or ask them live, and I'll try to get to as many of them tomorrow as I possibly can. So until then, have a great rest of your evening. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you tomorrow.